Hold on. Tried to get Sean to wake up and play something and join us, but he's just rolled over. Me and Jason are going to do voice chat if you want to chill. He's like, I don't want to wake up just to come in your room. I was like, I never said anything about coming in the room. If we're doing voice chat, you could play it here and talk to us.
I was gonna say, I have legit, like, rolled that guy over to I rolled that guy over, yelling in his face, wake up, and he like opened his eyes and looked at me.
That's kind of what he did to me when I woke him up for work that day that he got in trouble when he called off. So I woke him up like 3 hours before his shift. Like, there's no way I'm making it in time. I stayed up all night and just rolled over and went back to sleep. It's like, well, if you would have got up now, you'd be fine. But okay. Well, he waited too long too, because he didn't start flying places until he actually lost his job. I've been telling him for like 2 weeks before he lost it to start flying. That should probably be the same mistake I had to make at this rate, admittedly, but partially the way I was raised. That makes me feel like I'm betraying people, like, to go fucking look for another job when I currently have one. Also, if they fired you that way, then you technically didn't even leave. You were on vacation and they let you go. Well, that's most of my jobs, to be fair. It's like, not the first corporate job I've had, but most of my jobs were small, like pop out like 99 and shit.
My blood reserves run low.
That's why they fired you. They already had somebody. I guarantee you that's what happened. You were on vacation, somebody came in and asked if they were hiring. They're like, oh, not right now. You fill an application out. And then when your delay happened or whatever, they're like, they pulled that paper up. They're like, yeah. That's honestly kind of what they did with Tanya too, because that's what she got let go. Is like when her dad was in the hospital, or whatever. And they were literally, they took her off the schedule for a week, like the day her dad went in, and told her to take all the time she needed and everything. And then, like, they were making the schedule for the next week, and they asked her if she needed any extra time, and she literally only asked for like the one day, because like they were going in for like a doctor consultation or whatever. And like they released the schedule, gave her that day, and like put her on for like 3 days after that. And then while she was at the hospital, they tried to call her in, and when she said no, they're like, "Well, just bring us the key back tomorrow."
They were calling me in constantly, and I was like, nah. Like they're gonna need me for this week, or I'll go back.
That's why I didn't go back to 99. Fucking the one time I was going to go back to 99, and Dave wanted me to sign a legally binding contract that for a no compete and like on call thing or whatever. So like he could legally just not schedule me at all and have me on call, and I legally couldn't go out and find a second job. Like, he had a whole contract printed out and everything, like a legally, fully notarized, legally binding one. I was like, I'm not signing that. And he's like, well, if you don't sign it, you're not coming back to work here. I was like, well, then I guess I'm not coming back to work there. And it was for 10 years. So, like, the legally binding contract like that, like, he could have fucking fired me a month later, and that means I couldn't work anywhere for 10 years. Because of the no compete clause.
Well, you have no assets and no money anyway, so you could just break the laws into it and what's gonna happen.
I already owe the government like $15,000, and they're in the same boat.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean though. It's like declare bankruptcy. Let this get it first.
So they can't declare bankruptcy because bankruptcy doesn't clear IRS ones.
No, not IRS.
I know, but I owe the IRS like 15,000. Hey, I didn't do it.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It was when I was fucking still living at home, fucking working at 99, like in my like late teenage years and shit. Fucking my mom committed mad tax fraud when she did my tax returns.
Fucking course you did. That is fucking incredible.
She was like for 4 years in a row without me realizing it. She was labeling herself and Bladen as my dependents and getting like fucking $10,000 tax returns. And I was only getting like $2,000 of it. I didn't even know the rest was coming in. Well, then I guess technically, legally, it was right. Like, I like when I went to H&R Block trying to get it straightened out, like when they did subpoena me and everything. Technically, legally, she was in the right. We weren't actually doing anything wrong. What got us flagged for fraud and that they came and like sued me for all the back money they'd given was that Bladen's father, Sean, down in South Carolina, filed on his taxes that he had custody of Bladen and that Bladen was his dependent, and the government was just like, well, nope, the father is obviously dependent of the father, so like you're obviously the one committing fraud. And we're sitting here like he doesn't have custody of him and he's in another fucking state. How does that work? Yep, apparently that's how it works though. You just have to be the legal father or parent, and that makes anybody else count as fraud automatically, even though we're the ones with custody, and he was my dependent at the time technically because I was the only one in the house paying taxes. No clue.
Yeah, really, I was thinking about that.
But like my mom and Bladen actually were my dependents at the time, so I was legally supposed to get that amount back and everything. But that's what got me flagged was Sean filed and got money back for Bladen at the same time, so it got triggered as fraud. And that came back as the only way that I could fight it was to get a written statement from Sean that that we did have custody and rights to claim him on our taxes. And as soon as we talked to him about it, try to talk to him about it and be like, yo, they're trying to sue me for like $20,000 because you claimed him when you weren't supposed to, et cetera, et cetera. He was just like, well, if I give you that, then I'm going to get hit with the fraud charges. And then he blocked us. Haven't heard from him since. And to top it all off, he's not even actually Bladen's father. He just thinks he is. Bladen's done an ancestry test, and it's not his dad. His real dad happened from a one-night stand, fucking literally, like, 3 months before the wedding. And his actual dad committed suicide 2 months before he was born. No, his actual father committed suicide like 2 months before he was born. Not that they would have known that early anyways. He didn't take the ancestry test until he was like fucking 5. I guess his real dad like committed suicide 2 months before he was born because his wife left him and took the 4 kids when she found out that another lady was about to be giving birth to one of his kids. I guess he was also like one of those like ex-Marines that was like slowly going insane now that he wasn't a Marine. So I guess he also killed himself for that. He never really talked about it, according to Crystal, but he'd always like when you get drunk and like mutter to himself about the horrible things the military made him do. So like he hated himself for what the military made him do, I guess, or whatever. Well, he would have fallen into the category of the ones I always talk about that do come from the poor ones that joined seeking like the honor and camaraderie type shit. That was from like deep Allegheny County. Fucking trailer park trash people.
I don't feel sympathy because ultimately he had to think, oh, I want to go out and shoot people. And he got shot at and he's like, poor as hell.
No, from what I don't know how he ended up in the Marines. From my understanding, he originally was trying to be like a medic or a technician or something. Yeah, like I said, I don't know exactly the specifics of how it happened, but I was always told he originally was joined to be like a medic. Like he legitimately just wanted to help people. And then he went the way of Timothy McVeigh, but without the explosion. He just went insane from what the military made him do. Well, that's why I say he definitely falls into the category that I usually talk about, that like fucking got blindsided about what the military actually was from what their ideal of it was. I think he actually served in Afghanistan. my sister's generation was about that time, like back to Baghdad and shit.
Yeah, no, your sister's generation. I was trying to explain this to Shonda that like that generation of people, like kind of after Gen X, but not exactly millennial. You know what I mean? Their brains were completely fried by like Bush era propaganda. Like when 2001 happened, like their brains just got cooked.
Yeah, hang on. Let me look up the books. I want to make sure I get the guy's name properly. My sister's prom, like high school sweetheart, her fucking prom date earned the Medal of Honor. The Gift of Valor is an entire like nonfiction book written about this guy. He was Crystal's prom date, high school sweetheart. Ironically, for being the meth head dropout, like let down to the family, she was actually valedictorian and everything in school, like prom queen, everything. Um, but to put in perspective their generation of mindset on the army and everything, have you ever heard the story of Jason Dunham? Jason? No, I don't know. You know, fucking Jason Dunham though was one of the few people like of that time like to earn the full on Congressional Medal of Honor, but he got it. He was the one. I'm sure you've heard the story, maybe just never heard the name. But he's the one that earned the Medal of Honor for like during like the convoy fucking ambush or whatever, when the IED or grenades and stuff were being set off. He's the one who like threw his helmet on top of it and then jumped on top of it to save his entire squad. So he was the only one that died. Like he saw it about to go off and he threw his helmet on and told his squad to run and then he jumped on top of the helmet to contain the blast.
Yeah, I was gonna say that like it would be a better wrestling story if you just like
But there's an entire book about him and everything because like he was the like I guess I don't know if he's like one of the only ones, but I guess he was like the first one of like that time to get the Medal of Honor. He's like the first person since like fucking World War II or Nam or whatever to get it.
I hear you. I just like I think the story is better. We'll just hide it.
I mean, one did, but it was the one that deserved it the least.
Right. Probably didn't even think twice about it. He's like, thanks, dude.
He didn't even think twice about doing it.
Right. I'm talking with the other guys that rode away. They're probably just like,
That's my point. Is like, especially like my hometown, like those people, like mine. So like the guy I was just like Blade's dad. I was talking about the days beforehand. And shit, like, fucking. That's my point, though. Is like their mindset is like wholeheartedly like the Captain America fucking mindset of it, not the fucking just going to kill people mindset. You know what I mean?
Sanguine regeneration.
Oh, the boy. The going. I probably shouldn't say that while I'm. Probably shouldn't say that while I'm streaming. It's just the best word. It's just the best phrase I've ever heard somebody refer to it as. It kills me. It's just smoking on the goy nip. What the fuck is... I don't know what the fuck it's supposed to be, but it's hilarious. I thought it was supposed to be like a reference to Gektip from No Man's Sky. That was the first thing that came to my mind was Geknip. Hey, sometimes the Germans invent good things. Sometimes. They're usually the Guatemalans. And Argentinians. Yeah, they kind of got taken over. They're obviously right. They're obviously. I think the reason for them is because they get treated by like Mexico and the rest of the northern ones the same way we treat Mexico. Like that was the one reason I would always like argue in the like even slight defense of the whole wall thing and everything was the pure fact of how like against the wall Mexico was itself and everything. And I'd just be sitting there like, but have you seen your southern wall to Guatemala? Shit looks like the fucking World War Z wall. Yeah, but I'm saying in general, just the idea that they're like, there's no like, why there's no reason to build a wall. It's like, okay, but look at your wall. What? It had nothing to do with agreeing we should have the wall or not. It was the pure hypocrisy of it on their end that had me. I was like, what? Every single one of your borders besides the U.S. border has like a fucking 50-foot prison wall with mounted turrets pointing outside of it. Like it looks like the North Korean wall. But you're mad that we want to build one?
No, I was gonna say, I think Guatemala
You get where I'm coming from at least though.